there's a billboard to notes ratio. That's not good considering there are like 5 million billboards I see every 2 minutes.
I know. Well, you know, it's a level of investment that as a show creator, I am only grateful for. You know, having done a mid-season show that for all of ABC's goodwill, you know, couldn't have the kind of marketing push that we've had now. I mean, I definitely feel the difference.
Yeah.
And it's really rewarding to see them behind the show so much. But you know, that level of investment is a level of investment that means that they want to make sure that the show launches and that each episode is as strong as the pilot, as do I.
Yeah.
And you know, there's no fighting going on, but there's just a lot of conversations which only make the show better.
Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting because you're obviously on Twitter. So, I mean, you've been letting potential fans know about this process since the pilot started. I mean, we've seen, you know, the first cast dinner, et cetera, et cetera. So do you feel like kind of gives you a little bit of an edge over some of the other pilots out there?
Yeah, I think, you know, it depends. I certainly, even on The Unusuals, I remember one of the first Variety articles about Twitter quoted me in it because I was one of the early showrunners who was on it. It's a great medium to be able to interact with the audience in real time. And, you know, I remember at the TCAs, I took a picture of all the critics and Twittered it, and then all the critics sort of Twittered back that I'd taken, you know, done it. And there's a certain fun to that. And I always felt when I was breaking into either the novelist business or features or, you know, the big problem is that there's a dearth of information, you know, and I think Twitter is a useful medium when it's not just like a picture of what you had for breakfast, but you're actually trying to bridge that gap and give information about the process, which people are really interested in, you know. How does a pilot go from script to film? You know, what's the network process in designing a marketing campaign? All those sorts of things, which are really interesting and certainly better than me just, you know, going on a political rant or something.
Yeah, I mean, political rants people definitely do them as well, but yeah, I know, I've loved reading your tweets about the show because, I mean, in addition to Twitter, you also have your blog, so keeping people updated even above the 140 character limit.
Yeah. Well, my hope, you know, what I hope that the show does, because it's so important to me that as an audience you feel like you're watching something, if not literally real, at least emotionally real, in a way that a lot of scripted television isn't. There's an artifice to it. And so my feeling is, whenever I interact with people through Twitter or online or in person, I want to feel like I'm having a real exchange with them. This is not a PR attempt, you know. I mean, I'm trying to say something real about the process and something real emotionally, and, you know, to create an environment creatively for my cast and my writers and my directors where they feel like they have this safety net to do their best work and to take risks, because that's what's going to make the show great. We can't create from a place of fear, and I know that there's a lot of money at stake in these things, but in some ways you have to take that for what it is and shield your cast and your writers from that reality, which is that the stakes are high. But you know, we can't do our best work with a gun to our head. So.
Right. And I mean, now that you've gotten into the process of writing the series, has there any characters that have surprised you as to where the path they've taken, or do you have a pretty clear idea where they're going and they're going on that path?
You know, it's interesting. The pilot has this booster rocket quality, and it launches you. And there's a lot of stories built into the pilot, but those stories take you to a certain natural conclusion, which for us is somewhere between episode 7 and episode 9. And then it becomes a question of, well, where do we go from here, and what do we really want for these characters? And some of them, I have a really good sense of the whole first season of what I want to do with them. And others, you sort of go, well, that's interesting. You know, I feel like they've taken them to a certain point, and now we have a challenge of what else to do with them. You know, but that gives us the opportunity, you know, to really, because we cross these boundaries. We have a music producer in New York who works with real bands. We have a woman who went to Hollywood to try to be an actor. You know, we have so many characters in so many different walks of life. You know, the show's never insular in a way that's really fun. We can do just about anything.
Excellent. Cannot wait to see more.
Okay, good.